Welcome to the Hills Community Gardens here at Alma Treloar Reserve in Cockatoo. We meet on the first and third Sundays of the month at 10:30, but because we're on an open reserve, you can come here and enjoy the gardens, dig around, look around and enjoy them at any time, So, come on, I'll show you around. We have individual and communal plots here at the gardens. We've got 5 people with individual plots down here. Others, we have communal plots where you can plant or harvest as you wish. Some of them are going into perennial gardens, like asparagus over here, which we're going to plant out. This is Tiffany's plot. Tiffany's an occupational therapist, and she's started using her plot to work with some of her clients. Tiffany will be here at the next dig-in. So like everyone, her zucchinis are going really well.
And corn, it looks fabulous.
Yes, she took home a bit of a bumper crop the other day, I think. And over here, this is where Dwight actually ran a kinder group on this plot, and with COVID it sort of became a bit hard so it sort of hasn't come back yet. I'm not sure if that's going to keep going, is it, Dwight, the kinder group?
Well, it depends what the community house would like to do.
Oh yes, yeah. We're auspiced by the Cockatoo Community House, so they help us with, if we do grants, we use their ABN, and we collaborate with the community house, which is just up the road. We're bordered by Cockatoo Creek, which is really lovely. Before we got our water tank, we used to joke that we'd come along with, a stick on our back and buckets to water, but we never had to do that, thankfully.
Excellent.
We're doing a bit of a line in artichokes. So this is the Jerusalem artichoke that are about to start flowering very soon. This was left over from somebody who planted them, and then
once you have Jerusalem, that's it. You'll never not have it.
That's right. This is another private plot.
Beautiful borage.
Yeah. Another private plot. The beginnings of the compost hub that Max will talk about, I'm sure. We cleaned our compost bays out and we're going to renovate them. So around here we've got our comfrey growing, which is really good for compost.
Oh, it loves it there.
Yeah, it's a really good spot.
Yeah.
And just some leftover tomatoes that we left, the hanging
Self-seeded.
Hanging
Yeah, don't you love
in the
them?
compost.
Yeah.
Hanging tomatoes of cockatoo, we call them.
Fantastic.
This plot here gets a bit of a workover from football and stuff because of this open reserve here. So these 2 trees self-seeded. So we've decided to make it a plot that has indigenous plants in it, plants that grow here locally. The playground has been a really good boon for us because there's lots of kids here now. They moved there from way over there a few years ago, so that's been really...
Oh, okay, so the garden was here
before.
First grade.
Yes.
Awesome,
Yes. So
that's cool too. Look, I like...
This is the lower part of our plot.
Plastic bottle sign and styrofoam.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, information signs are so important to keep them engaged.
Yes. A lot of people harvest from that rhubarb, which is great. A hair rhubarb myself. Off we go up to the top plot. Come on. We planted a small orchard last year. We've been thinking about it for a long time. finally got to do it on a day that poured with rain, but we had a really good turnout, and a permaculturalist did a workshop, and these are our trees here, down here, all in a line, which was sort of different to how I would have imagined doing it, but I think it's going to work really well. Nice peach and cherry. We've got some botanical signs to put in for those. That's a storeroom in there, kindly donated by the childcare centre. The trombotinos are going really well.
Oh, look at them. Excellent.
And starting to climb up the fence.
Yay.
So I just like them as a novelty.
They are. They're wonderful, aren't
Over here we have the original mural that we had done by the Cockatoo primary school kids in the very early days, which I think it's really beautiful actually. I really love that mural. Yeah. And onto our plaque. The garden opened in 2007. We started talking about it in 2004. It opened in 2007. And recently, we've made this into a bulb and salvia garden. So in springtime, it's a riot of colour. And onto our sensory garden. When we first opened, Kevin Hines was our patron. Some people won't know who Kevin Hines was, but he was a really big name in gardening, and he had a show called So What on the ABC, and he was our patron. And so this is a real acknowledgement of Kevin, who passed away more than 10 years ago now. The Horticultural Therapy Association were also really helpful to us in the early days. So they assisted us with this sensory garden as well, and it's just a nice space where you can sit and think. Hear the thwack of the tennis over here. Occasional bit of swearing. A bit of come on. That's it. So just a slightly different space here. And it ends with the cheerio, because that's what Kevin used to say at the end of his program. You know, I think So What was like the precursor to Gardening Australia. So Peter Cundall said, "That's your bloomin' lot," but Kevin used to say cheerio. So we acknowledge him with this mosaic.
That's right. I didn't realise you had a connection.
Yeah, he was really helpful. And last but not least, these three plots here are the Hills Herbal Collective plots. So this is fairly new. Some of the plants have been here for ages, but this is a pollinator garden. So we're going to continue to develop that to promote pollinators. Bit of lemon verbena, pomegranate, wormwood, things like that.
Lovely old rosemary.
Yeah, that was an original rosemary that we planted, so that's
amazing.
That's, you know,
they're good, aren't
quite
they?
a few years
So
old.
good.
Over here we have the Hills Herbal Collective garden for Indigenous medicinal plants. We need to label these, but they're not labelled, and I can't tell you what they are, but it's going really well. And this is their Hills Herbal Collective showcase garden here. So it looks like we just haven't weeded, but we have. These dandelions will be harvested when, you know, in a few months' time. So and they also need to be labelled as well. So Have I covered everything, Dwight?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So this plot was Dwight's plot actually, wasn't it,
That's my
Dwight?
Yeah.
But we're actually going to make this into a wicking bed. We've got to pull the whole thing
Back together.
because it's moving apart. It's very solid. Dig it out, and we'll make that a community workshop type of thing. So we've got a few people at the gardens interested in wicking beds. So that's what we're going to plan to do with this one.